Although the Libra has great potential, Facebook knew it had a reputation problem. As stated by them, if we were controlling it, very few people would want to jump on and make it theirs. In addition to that, whenever a company is introducing a new technology and that technology is not its main line of business, often it's difficult to give it enough attention and resources. Because of this and other reasons, a foundation was proposed and created, the Libra Foundation. In this foundation, Facebook gets one vote, and the other votes go to the other founding members. The requirement from a financial standpoint is $10 million to join, and the task of this foundation would be to make the Libra successful. That is, to incentivize the ecosystem of third party developers to join, to help them in the process of onboarding onto the platform, perhaps introducing discounts and rewards. You can imagine something akin to the percent back that you get back on credit cards when it comes to using these platforms. It would also promote the technical aspects, the blockchain, open source, the Move programming language, and in general, try to make Libra a success. Now, the members, as mentioned, would have to pay $10 million to join and would get a vote. And that vote would be one vote or 1% of the total vote, whichever one is largest. And they would also have access to interest that would be captured on the fiat currencies. When people joined and buy some Libra, they would buy that with fiat currency. That currency would be held, and the interest that is collected on that would be used to pay for the operation of the network. When that exceeds the cost of the operations of the network, the founding members, or all of the members of the foundation, would receive that interest back in proportion to their investment within the foundation. Now, it's worth mentioning that although it is a decentralized system, it is a permission blockchain. That is the cloud model, the club model. People need to know you and trust you and go through a vetting process. You can see here some of the requirements already in order to join. And within the last 5 years or so, there's been a great deal of experience that has been gathered on permission networks. So it is much better understood. It is more robust than the early versions, and there's a lot of maturity that can be brought to this model. In addition to that, there are also technical requirements. 100 megabit dedicated internet connection is required, and in general, you have to be a global leader from the profile that you see described here. You need to have half a rack of server space, dedicated resources, personnel, secure infrastructure, market value of over 1 billion. So certainly this makes the pool small. You need to have a tremendous amount of reach. You can see there 20 plus million people. And you also need to have a large brand that is recognizable. Now, there's a different criteria that is applied to nonprofits and universities, but ultimately, if you read through the documentation, a similar goal is being pursued there. These are very significant organizations throughout the world, and these are leading universities when it comes to the participation. There's 28 founding members that were announced when this was introduced, and you can see here the different industries that they represent: payments, technology and marketplaces, telecom, blockchain. There's venture capitalists as well as I mentioned, nonprofits and some academic institutions. You can see here in a graphical display what they are. You can see MasterCard, you can see PayPal, you can see Uber, you can see entertainment companies, you can see eBay. And one of the questions to consider as well is, why would financial payment platforms join this platform? That's an interesting one to consider. The goal is to have 100 founding members, which would add up to 1 billion. That would give it significant resources to carry out its charter and to have that deployment that is projected onto next year. It's also worth mentioning that the foundation is based in Geneva, Switzerland, and it would be regulated by the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority, FINMA. And the reason for that is often stated by a lot of the blockchain community, is clarity on regulation. most countries are still coming together and trying to decide what their posture is going to be. So having already a position that is well defined and stated is one that a lot of the blockchain community would likes and is comfortable with. I should say as well that they are not the only ones that are pursuing this. Even within the United States and certain regions and states, the FINMA approach to regulation on blockchain is being followed. So this is perhaps a position that needs to be managed when it comes to the perception of being incorporated for an American company abroad in Switzerland. But when it comes to the blockchain community, stability and understanding of what the regulations is, this is something that has been done for quite some time. And there is good support and clarity when it comes to the regulation. That is not to mean that Switzerland itself will not look deeper at this new proposal. There's a great deal of technology and innovation being proposed, so this will happen anywhere. But it is a geography in where there's a good set of regulations to follow.